Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Let's get into the Friday, August 30th, the college football slate, where we're going to have two best bets. There's only about a handful of games tonight, a little different than yesterday, but let's get into it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, great time to do so. Join us. Really appreciate all you guys that are also channel members. It's a great way to give back to the channel. Please subscribe, though, if you haven't done so. We're going to be talking sports every day this fall. Baseball has been an incredible run. If you guys are watching me from that or college basketball, this is a fairly new channel. So get on the train while it's early. Join us. Totally free to do so. Also, be sure to hop on over to the Discord. But I am going to give you guys my Friday pick. I'm traveling this week, so I will have a video where we're going to break down the Saturday games and then the Sunday games. That's how we're going to do it for week one. But tonight, just two bets for me. We're going to get into kind of my analysis and where I'm at within those matchups. So let's get into the Outlier. I'll show you guys kind of what's going on with them. This is one of the betting tools that I use within the industry. It allows me to make the best bet possible. If you guys aren't using it, make sure you click my link down below and check it out, because just last night, for example, it allowed me to find an edge with a game live in game, and that's kind of where it just makes things quicker. So as you guys all know, if you have YouTube TV, you might be 35 seconds to a minute behind the action, okay? Or not just YouTube TV. YouTube TV is great, but you know what I'm trying to say. So sometimes that within streaming, the world of streaming, things can really vary, and you want to be right, fresh, up to date, and you don't want to be logging into 10 different apps and searching around for the best number available. So I use this from a very much a time-saving perspective, number one. Number two, best number available. And number three, within AI, it's compiling AI data. It's by far the best advantage that you can have without, basically spending all day at a computer and just Googling. Okay. So let's get into that first game. We are going to talk about a few of them, but I do want to show you kind of a preview of what's to come. This is something where the first game out there that we are going to be targeting is going to be within the likes of Florida Atlantic and Michigan State. I do want to kind of talk about the Temple Oklahoma game. Not a bet yet, but a lot of people will be betting this, and you can look in here and see what I'm kind of doing. A lot of the money is on taking Temple with the points. That is something very interesting. 42.5. Generally, I like to see this game get out of control. It's kind of how we look at it early on in the season. I think that big spreads end up getting covered, especially within non-conference kind of matchups. Overs have been hitting at a very high rate, so that's something where I look for the over 57.5 to hit. However, I'm not going to bet it because of the fact that I don't trust Temple. So if you do want to bet this, though, Oklahoma team total is a bet that I would entertain. I do think that they put up some numbers here in their opener at home. Okay, just kind of like a little sidecar there. It's not actually an official play, but this is kind of where we're at. The first game, though, that we are going to get into is Florida Atlantic and the Michigan State Spartans. Now, what's important to understand about this game is we have a whole new regime. This is something where you look at kind of who's coming down for Michigan State, replacing Mel Tucker. We have a new coach within Florida Atlantic as well, I believe, Tom Herman. And if you guys know who Tom Herman is, boy, have those chips kind of fell a little differently for him. One of the hottest names, and now we're kind of just at Florida Atlantic. So second-year coach within FAU, and they didn't really do too hot last year. Okay, I look for, despite them being an offensive-minded team within Tom Herman's scheme, really to struggle against a Michigan State defense. I think Michigan State is going to be in a way better position in this year than last year as well. I think that Florida Atlantic can play a little bit of a, probably about a little bit below average defense. This is a clear-cut win for me for Michigan State. However, we look at how bad they were, and you could see kind of the excitement that they have to have with Aiden Childs coming over from Oregon State. That's going to be very exciting, but this is something where offensively I look for Michigan State to have a lot more success. I just don't see it right now this early. I think it's going to be kind of a figure it out kind of approach. I think that Michigan State, in terms of the money being clearly on the over, that's why it's going to be kind of interesting. We're going to look at some closing line value here, and this is kind of how you have to be careful with all this. We opened at 45, and now the total is at 45 as well. However, I am going to go contrarian on this. I don't see Florida Atlantic scoring. So if you kind of think Michigan State can get up into the high 30s, then by all means. But my money is going to be on the under in this game. We are going to be taking the under 45.5. Michigan State, Florida Atlantic. And like I was talking about some of the closing line value, this number opened at 48.5. So you want to bet this game in the best possible time frame, and this is where week one can get a little tricky. We're crossing through a lot of those key numbers. We're losing the 46, we're losing the 47 and 48, and it opened at 48.5. So you could have even got that half point and had it on at a 49. So, this is kind of where the value is on the over right now. That's why we're seeing the money flow in, but I'm just going to point it out for you guys. There's a reason why this number was bet down from 48.5. That's why I'm taking the under. That's my pick for Michigan State and Michigan State and Florida Atlantic. Sorry, I haven't had my coffee yet this morning. Cheers to that 5 a.m. wake up and just starting the record here. So that's where we're going to be in my first play. The second play is another one we're going to get into. That's where we look for Stanford. We're going to look into the Stanford game. We're going to go out west. Stanford and TCU, okay? That's a late game, 10:30. I think this is something where I really think this number is a little too high. We're going to get into some of the numbers behind this game as well. TCU going to play the Cardinal. By all accounts, I think TCU is going to win, 10-point favorites, roughly a little bit below that. This number has been bet down from 11 to 9. And I like the fact that the total is trending in my direction as well. We're going to go under that total, opened at 60.5, the key number at 61, but we are going to take the under 60 out there. That's something where I do see TCU taking care of business on the road, but I think Stanford is going to play a different brand of football where they're going to be basically able to eliminate some of the clock and take care of business. I think that both of these teams like to throw the football. Stanford's kind of adapted to the times out there. In what you would call, I guess, what's left of the Pac-12. But anyways, that's kind of where we're at. I think this is something where we see there is potential for a high-scoring game, but I really feel like this is a dead shot on the under. I think the number's just too high. That's kind of where I'm at. I think TCU rolls, but I do think that on defense, I think TCU might be able to shut the door on the Cardinal. Would not be surprised if Stanford fails to score at a clip that, quite frankly, if you watched them play last year, you kind of understand what I'm saying. It's like watching paint dry. I don't like to use last year's metrics and numbers to go into this year. Let's let a few weeks of data points accumulate, and then we can make the best informed decisions. We're not going to use where this team ranked in defense last year. How many times have you done that and lost a bet where a team may have been in the top 25 in defensive or offensive efficiency, DVOA, all that good stuff, and then boom, all of a sudden they give up 40 points in the opener. So we're not doing that. I just think that we're going to see a slower pace game that we saw last year. I think Stanford's going to run the ball a little bit more than last year. And both of these teams kind of have the potential to just be a little bit, I guess you would say, rusty on offense. So I'm not looking for a lot of points. I think that this would be a very strong play at 61, but under 60, we're still going to take it. So that will be my second official play for tonight's games. All right. So that'll about wrap it up. We will have a video out tomorrow covering the Saturday slate. Right now, I'm just giving you guys my best bets and a couple leans along the way. But like I said, today we just have a few games going, and I do like that late game out with the Stanford Cardinal taking on the traveling TCU Horned Frogs. We're going to be taking the under 60 in that, and the under in Michigan State, Florida Atlantic as well. And, if you do want to look in deeper in these games and you don't necessarily want to bet the full game total, there is still an advantage and an opportunity to bet the team totals, right? Talked a little bit about Florida Atlantic. I don't see them scoring any points. So that's kind of why we go to the full game total. So Florida Atlantic team total, taking that under, as well as taking the team total under for the Stanford Cardinal. That would be an option as well. But I'm on the full games. That's where I'm at. There's not too much line movement. We have a little bit of CLV, closing line value. Michigan State, Florida Atlantic, not so much. That one's a little bit touchy, but that's kind of where we're going to be at for my two best bets for Friday, August 30th. Let's try to keep it going. 3 out of 4 yesterday within the first day of the college football week 1 opener. That's kind of what we like to do here. We like to cash tickets. That's what it's all about. And let's keep the momentum going into the weekend where we have a lot of exciting games. Appreciate you all. Thanks for watching. Feel free to let me know any comments, suggestions, whatever you guys want to present to me. And feel free to subscribe, Discord, Twitter, all that good stuff. And we'll see you guys all tomorrow. Good luck. Cheers.